All right, so he gets to the interesting, tricky bit about if you just get a randomly occurring triangle wandering in the wild, how do you know which rule to use for it? So here's a few clues. First of all, when I look at this triangle, there are a couple of things I note, and the first thing I note is there's nothing to tell me it's a right angle triangle. So if I have a look at the two options down here, definitely not, right? Good. Okay, now I've got to decide between the cosine rule and the sine rule. And how I do it is this. With the cosine rule, including the thing I don't know, I should have 3 sides, 1 angle. Okay? So including the thing I don't know should be 3 sides, 1 angle. Right? And if I'm looking at the sine rule, I should have 2 pairs of sides and angles. Okay, so again, one of those things can be missing from each, but if you have a look now, let's have a look at this example above. I've got 2 sides and they are paired up with 2 angles because there they are there. One of them is missing. Now, if you have a check, I do not have 3 sides, 1 angle, including a missing one. I, however, do have 2 pairs of sides and angles. Therefore, I'm going to use the sine rule. Okay, hope that makes sense. We're going to have a look at a few more examples to show you. All right, so we're not going to work these out. We're just going to decide whether we use sine or cosine for them. Okay, so let's have a look at question 1 here. I've got, let's have a look, and I often do it by drawing on it. I've got a pair of side and angle there, and I've got a pair of angle and side there, but I don't have I'm missing a third side over here. So that tells me I've got 2 pairs, so that is sine. Right? Second one over here, I have an angle and a side as a pair, and an angle as a side and a pair. Remember, it includes the thing that's missing, marked as missing, so that one is sine as well. And this third one, funnily enough, well, let's have a look at it. I've got 1 angle, but can you see I've got 1, 2, 3 sides? So 3 sides, guess what? That's right, that's cosine. Okay, let's have a look at the bottom set down here. I've got 1, 2, 3 sides, 1 angle, so it's got to be 3 sides, 1 angle, cosine. This one here, I've got 1 pair there and a second pair there, okay, but I don't have 3 sides, so that's going to be the sine rule. And this last one here, I've got a pair here and I've got a pair here, so that is also the sine rule. Okay, so if you can make 2 pairs, it's the sine rule. If you can make 3 sides and an angle, it's generally cosine rule. And by the way, in case you're wanting to know, in case you were like, oh, what are the missing things? There actually are the missing sides. So in case you want to use this as a little practice run for are you correct with your angles and sides later, you can do that. Okay, so let's see if we can get down to the summary here. What type of triangle is the sine and cosine used for? It's used for non-right angled. Now look, you can use them for right angled triangles. You can, it does work, but it's just a lot of extra work. It's actually faster to use SOHCAHTOA and Pythagoras. Will you be wrong? The answer is no, but you just get a little bit less time if you use them. What piece of information do you know to be able to use? Okay, so sine rule is 2 pairs, and remember that side angle, side plus angle, and side plus angle. And cosine rule, I need to have 3 sides, 1 angle. If you get really confused, don't panic. If you try and fit it into something and it doesn't fit, you can normally tell. Does that change depending on what you're working for, or either a missing side or an angle? The answer is no. As long as you include the missing thing in the 2 pairs or the 3 sides, 1 angle, you should be correct each time. However, be warned, sometimes for instance, with the cosine rule, the angle you want, missing angle, may not be opposite the side you want, so that you might have to do a little bit of extra work, because remember with cosine that pairing needs to happen. All right, so let's have a look at these ones as well. Do we have any? So let's have a look. This one is 3 sides, 1 angle, cosine. This one is 2 pairs, sine. This one is 2 pairs, sine. This one is 3 sides, 1 angle, cosine. 3 sides, 1 angle, cosine. And this one is 2 pairs, so it's sine. Pretty much easy as that. It is worth spending a little time looking at a problem before you try and start it so that you work out whether it is actually sine or cosine. Oh, and in case you again want to randomly wander through and have a go at these, I have put the answers for the missing piece on it just in case you want to use it for practice later.